Hello guys. In today's video, I just wanted to share my experience with the NAS DS216 plus 2. So of course, when I bought it, it was really nice, it was working great, I was so happy about it, and I started to put all my data and some packages on the NAS. So everything was great, and then suddenly I experienced some stability problems where the NAS started to freeze once every 2 months, then once every month, once every week, 2 or 3 times every week, and then suddenly once a day up to 3 times a day. So I was a little bit worried because it was getting, more and more often. I know that I had put a lot of packages on the system and a lot of data over the time, and all those application and operating system, they got updated as usual. And every time I said to myself, okay, maybe it's a bug with the package, it's a bug in the system, maybe an update will clear the situation. So every time I was hoping that things would get better. And then suddenly I saw that it would never be the case. It was getting worse every day, at every upgrade, at every packages I was installing and everything. So I tried to disable all the packages and see if I was able to reproduce the problem, because maybe it was a too much load on the system. Okay, so I was not really able to reproduce always when I wanted to. So then I was able to, when all the packages were active, I was able to reproduce the problem while using certain packages. So of course, when you do that, you think that you have some problems with the packages, which it was not the case. So when this situation, the freezes happened, if I was extremely lucky, the system would, get back to normal by itself. But this only happened during the first couple of months. After this, I had to, when it freezes, I had to try to connect remotely through SSH to do a graceful shutdown. And this, it worked like maybe once every 30 times. And sometimes I was never able to connect to the NAS, so it was either the network was not responding, either when I tried to enter the password, it's computing the password and then it cut the connection. So I had a lot of weird stuff coming in. I cannot give you all the details by video, so I will give you the link where I explained everything. And so at a time, I had to force shut down the system with the power button, and that happened like 10 or 15 times over the year. And of course, I was starting to get worried because every time, or most of the time, when I forced to shut down the system, I had a red resynchronization going on. And at that time, I said to myself, "Oh my God! What happens if the NAS decides to crash while it's doing the red resync?" So this was the part which I started to get worried, because it was once or twice a day, and it could happen during the red resync, which it would have been catastrophic. Now the worst thing that you can tell me, oh, but you have a good backup procedure, etc., so you can restore your data, and that was even worse, because actually I saw that for months my backup was corrupted. So because I had a lot of problems with the stability, I had to lower the backup schedule. So instead of 3 times a day, it was only 1 time a day. And I tried to verify the integrity of the data, from time to time. But the short data integrity check, most of the time it said that it was okay. But then I suddenly run the big one, which I didn't for months because of the stability problem. Then it was all corrupted. And so I said, okay, you know what? Don't worry. Maybe there's a problem with the backup. I'm just going to do another one. And then the problem started, because if it was able to do the backup, the system could crash during the backup. Or if the backup was successful, if I run a long integrity check, actually it said that the data was corrupted. So I was really afraid of losing everything. So I didn't know what to do. Maybe it was a a hard disk problem, a hardware problem, a operating system problem, a package problem. So I said, okay, you know what? I'm gonna take some time during my holidays and I'm going to test all of that. Replace the hard disk, reinstall the system, and maybe buy a new NAS. But I was completely disgusted of the situation and nothing that I couldn't try anything actually because it would have been too much of a hassle to put everything back together. So I had two tickets at Synology. The first ticket, it's when the situation was bearable, and the second ticket was when it was completely unbearable. So Synology, they answered quickly, they connected to my NAS, they ran some diagnostics, and they didn't find anything. They thought that maybe I had a problem with my external HDD, maybe because there is a problem and they are not able to communicate correctly and then the system freezes. But actually it was not the case because I've tried that already, and they done some file system checks, some data scrubbing, some smart, everything that you could possibly think of, and they said there is absolutely no problem with the everything that is software related. So okay, so I said to myself, my god, it's maybe just a hardware problem, so maybe I can buy another NAS. But then I started to see that maybe I should try something easier that I have found on a forum that I'm going to show you the link anyway. That said that maybe it's a RAM problem in terms of capacity. Okay, so here as you can see, now everything is okay. I've gone from 1 GB of RAM to 8 GB of RAM, and since then it's working perfectly. But at the beginning, I had only 1 GB and the RAM was at 60%. But 60%, okay, it's not that bad. It's starting to get filled up, but nothing to worry about. And I said, okay, if I go to the memory, I can see that there is some cached. Okay, so what is the problem? Okay, there is some cache, there's some information getting from the memory module to the hard disk because it's there's all this process, and but actually it was the problem. It was a problem because there was too much data transfer between them and the system was clogged. Okay, so I changed the RAM module to 8 GB, and oh my god, this is a new system. It's like from a small French little car to a big Ferrari or Lamborghini. I cannot. There is a big difference in the system. So I will give you the link. My post on the problem is this is my nickname Null, and you can see here that I have explained exactly what I experienced, the symptoms, what I try to do, and everything. This is very important for you to read because if you're having the same situation, it's probably because of a RAM problem. So this guy who created the post here, so he gave some advices, but some of them were not too complicated, but it did not fit my situation. Okay, so I've taken one of his advice, which was to change RAM, to upgrade RAM, and it works great. So I'm also going to send you which RAM I bought, so you have the reference. Now, one other thing is that unfortunately I didn't have find any old print screen of the problem, but this is exactly, if I can find it again, what I experienced, what I am going to show you here. This is it. So I was also around 60 to 65 RAM usage percent, and the volume usage was extremely high, and I had some some strange lines like that. It's kind of flat lines and going up suddenly like this. So I had the exact same thing. And if you ever get this on your Synology drive or Synology cloud client on your computer, well, you can be sure that your system might never get back again, and you might have to force shutdown. Okay, so this is what I want to share with you, because if only I had found this solution sooner, it would have been so great. But also there is some problem because when the Synology developers or support, they told me that everything was fine, I said, but hey, wouldn't it be a RAM problem? And I said, yes, it's probably that too, because you are having a lot of packages. Yes, which is true. I have a lot of packages, but why didn't you tell me from the beginning that this was the real problem? That had too many packages. They said that, of course, the DS216 plus 2 is not made to run that many packages. Well, I'm an IT engineer, so of course I could have said, well, duh, of course I cannot put that much stuff, but nothing in the performance monitor would have told me that there really was a problem. And of course, they never gave me the solution of changing RAM, just because actually it is not a supported method for for the warranty. If you change the RAM, it will void your warranty. It's quite difficult to change it. You have to take off your NAS almost apart completely, and then you have a little aluminum scotch. And if you take it off, and because you need to take this off in order to remove some parts to access the RAM module. So of course you can put it back, but it will be wrinkled. And if it is wrinkled, so you can have the idea also of putting the normal RAM back together, back inside, and send it to Synology in case of problem. But they would see that it's not, completely smooth, that it is wrinkled, so they will see it. So anyway, I just wanted to share my experience, because I was getting ready to either to reinstall everything, to change NAS, maybe go to QNAP, for example, or just sorry, or just stop with the NAS and just get back to Dropbox, for example. So of course, fortunately, it didn't go that far. And if you have this problem, well, I hope you do not, but now you have maybe a solution. It's the RAM changing, especially if you have a lot of packages. Well, I hope you enjoyed. Bye bye.